Hey, what is going on guys? Welcome everyone back to another Black Ops 4 Blackout video. In today's video, what we're going to be looking at is some updates that have been added into Blackout. So since a day or so, since the beta has actually came out, the Treyarch has actually updated the game and they have actually told a lot of people on Reddit some feedback that they're getting and what they're likely going to change to improve the overall game and the beta experience. So starting off, as you can see on the screen, these are more or less the full update notes. And basically what's happened is they've changed featured playlist to duos, so you can do that now if you want to. They raised the player cap to 88. I believe it's like 89. Some people have been saying 88. Some people have been saying 89. But overall, the player cap is obviously raised a little bit. It's only about 8 to 9 players extra than the normal 80 when the beta first started. So, you know, I guess that's a good thing. But from what I've seen on Reddit and stuff like that, a lot of people are complaining about how low the player base is and there should be at least 100 players. And based on what I'm seeing, I think 100 players would be a good idea. I mean, if they're already at 88, possibly they should be able to get all the way to 100. But maybe it may be an update that they may add in later, or they could just do that when the full game comes out. So the next thing we're going to be looking at within the patch notes is that there's general stability and stat tracking improvements. So that'd be good when looking at the combat record and stuff like that. A quick equip menu will automatically close if not used for 5 seconds. So again, these are just little minute changes, but overall helps the game up a little bit. And the next full update note has something to do with item pickups. So it's increasing the speed of picking up items off the ground. You will still be able to reload your weapon independently without picking an item up by tapping the reload button. So I did notice when looting around that sometimes it does feel a bit sluggish when picking up items and weapons and stuff like that. So it looks like they've kind of addressed that issue, made it a little bit faster, and of course just making the gameplay a bit more fluid overall, which is always great. And the last thing is with equipment. So apparently they reduced the duration of a sensor dart to 2 minutes. So it did seem a little bit long before, but 2 minutes kind of seems like, I guess, the right kind of time in the middle. And apparently throughout the article as well, Treyarch stated prior to the beta start that they were open to changing the player count based on fan feedback and how the game feels and plays during the beta period, but an increase was not originally announced during beta period. So they have announced it, but looks like more people are going to have to start criticizing and arguing about the player cap size to get it raised. But overall, I think it should just be 100 straight up. I mean, if they're already at 88 now, then may as well just go over to 100. And who knows, maybe they can even test out 150 or something like that, which would be quite interesting. So looking at the next thing in today's video, what we're going to be looking at is the Black Ops 4 Day 1 recap in terms of the Blackout beta. Now, what has happened is on Reddit, basically Treyarch has created a whole post on feedback that they've received and new changes that they will likely implement. So these aren't updates yet, but they could be updates within the beta or when the game actually comes out. So starting off, what they did was they talked about item pickups, quick menu, armor, and friendly fire, kind of the stuff we already went through. So with item pickups, which we just explained, they've updated it, so I won't go into it. Also with the quick equip menu, they've basically updated it. They've talked about all the criticism and stuff they got about it, so I'm not going to talk about that. Armor is a different issue. So in relation to armor, what Treyarch have stated is much like the early days of the multiplayer beta, we've seen some online discussion about the utility of armor in Blackout. We're keeping a close eye on armor's performance during the beta. So if you haven't realized already, a lot of people are somehow comparing armor to Juggernaut from like COD 4 and stuff like that. I don't think it's that bad, but some people are complaining about it. So it looks like they may decrease it in the future, I'm not sure, but they are keeping an eye on it, which is a good sign. So the next thing is friendly fire. So they seem to be talking about that. So Treyarch have said with friendly fire that friendly fire allows your teammates to take you out by mistake or in some unfortunate circumstances on purpose. While we always recommend choosing your duo and quad partners wisely, we'll keep an eye on team killing throughout the beta and consider other options. We are also collecting stats on players who damage their teammates with friendly fire and have a security team monitoring those players for offenses that are outside the bounds of the occasional accident. Play nice out there. So that's telling me that they're keeping an eye out on people who are intentionally using friendly fire on their friends or random people that they randomly party up with. And it seems to me that if you friendly fire a bit too much, you actually could possibly get banned from the beta or maybe from the whole game itself. It seems like you'd have to be annoying a lot of people and get a lot of reports for that to actually happen, but overall it is a possible scenario. So the next thing Treyarch also did was apparently they also shared some tips on how to better prepare for certain situations in Blackout, and some of them are quite interesting. So there's only about 4 of them, and we'll go through each of them. So under Infiltration, Treyarch have said to achieve maximum distance when dropping onto the map in your wingsuit, try pointing straight down until you hit 60 meters a second, then level out. Pulling up past the horizontal position will cause your descent to slow. So I guess that's a good tip to basically land as soon as possible and stuff like that. The next thing is heal on the move. You don't need to stop moving to heal. This can be a real game changer when you're under fire and low on health. So this one I didn't realize until about like my 6th or 7th game where you could actually heal on the move. I would always just stand still and heal because like PUBG and stuff like that, you can't move around and heal. But in this game, you can actually move and heal at the same time. So that's always a great thing. So always remember that. And I think it's a pretty cool thing that they added into the game. So the next thing for preparing better in Blackout that Treyarch has talked about is weapon breakdown. Need to drop your weapon attachments quickly. Try hovering the cursor over your weapon in your inventory, then drop all attachments to break your weapon down. So just a quick little tip, break the weapons down, getting it done quickly. And I think most people do know that one. So I think that one is pretty obvious to most people. The next one is base jumping off structures / redeploying wingsuits. There's been some confusion out there about how to redeploy your wingsuit to base jump during a match. Make sure that you're high enough above ground and simply sprint towards your desired location, then press hold the jump button. So I've seen a lot of stuff on Reddit about this. Some people are complaining that they want to make the base jumping to use your wingsuit, not when you have to sprint. So you can do it even if you're walking, but so far in the beta, in the mechanics that are incorporated into the game, you actually have to sprint for you to actually redeploy your wingsuit. Some people don't like it, but just like Battlefield 4 and stuff like that, you didn't actually have to sprint to do it. But I think sprinting is fine, to be honest, because you know your character's got to get momentum to go ahead and redeploy his wingsuit. But overall, those are some little tips Treyarch gave us and some of the stuff they're looking at. So mainly they're really looking at item pickups, armor, some friendly fire, and of course the biggest update out of them all possibly is that they've increased the players from 80 to around 88 to 89. Some people have been saying 89, some people have been saying 88, but I think it's around 89. But nonetheless, guys, those are the new updates within Blackout. We'll probably end up getting some more tomorrow on the next day. I'll be sure to go through it on this channel. I'll probably also be streaming later today for Blackout. So if you do want to watch it, just be sure to look at my channel and I'll be sure to post some live videos with it. But nonetheless, hopefully you did enjoy today's video and I will catch you all later. Globe out.
Don't fly around my signal. Don't fly around my signal. Don't fly around my signal. I'll rearrange your dinner. Could be my house, you look like the